Okay.
I think we're live now, folks. So welcome, welcome, welcome to our Tuesday Good Health Stories and Solutions chat. We're making this available for you. So if you weren't able to come, or maybe your friend that you've been trying to encourage to come and find out about this phenomena that people are actually healing and resolving some of the issues, health issues that they weren't able to resolve with traditional medicine. I just want to welcome you, whether you're coming on a replay or you're coming live to us tonight. We thank you for being here. We're here every Tuesday just for you. And just know, whoever invited you here tonight, if you're interested in anything that you hear or you want to continue coming or get more information, please do talk to that person that invited you. I want to welcome all our attendees tonight. I think I have Madeline is new to us. She's actually our kind of our spokesperson in a sense, spreading the word through all our social media sites. So Madeline, thank you for joining the movement. Thank you for joining us in this cause to help people heal naturally. Also, I got special guests, Dr. Ronnie. I mean, her time is so precious, especially right now. When you start thinking of vacations, Martha's Vineyard is off the chain, right? Right now, with people coming to find resolution for things that they weren't able to find solution anywhere else but with Dr. Ronnie. So Dr. Ronnie, thanks for joining us. I also have Claudia. Um, Remember, this space is to learn, heal, and share real stories, health stories, and solutions from experts and each other. So if you have something to share today, we will have open mic at the end, the after party, we call it. And at that point, it's not recorded, and you can feel comfortable sharing with anything that you may be going through or a solution that you did solve. So with that, thank you, Jillian, for being the founder and the director. I appreciate you. She's the one that started this channel, and it takes a lot of work to coordinate this and orchestrate it. So, want to start with you, Dr. Ronnie. I think I have Dr. Parvna in here tonight
Pravna.
too, but I don't see him on my list yet. But he'll be coming in. But Dr. Ronnie, today's show is all about mobility. It's about healing and knowing how to get moving. Question for you: what why is it that we become so stiff as we get older? And even some young people now are feeling the effects of not
Yeah.
maybe getting the nutrition, I think it is.
Mostly it is nutrition, but it's quality nutrition. And I think a lot of people underestimate the power of protein and collagen. And along with that, when we have enough protein, which we call amino acids, and amino acids is essential for life. And that's why they call it essential amino acid. That word essential is very important. And sometimes, we'll talk about essential fatty acids. That word again, essential, is important. So that's protein and that's fat. And the two of them together allows our body major flexibility, right? But you also got to play your part. And your part is that you got to drink good water. So a lot of times we don't do that. And when you see people that are humped over and stiff and walking slow and they don't have that skip, hop, and jump in their bodies, you've seen them, they're dragging, and you see people with bad teeth and bad gums, and they just have horrible mood depression. A lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not getting enough amino acids, enough collagen, enough essential fatty acids. And a lot of people, when they think about collagen, they think about the skin, the hair, and the nails. But it's far deeper than that. It's so much deeper than the skin, the hair, and the nails. When I do assessments sometimes, when they come into the retreat, I can already tell those who are deficient in amino acids by looking at their skin and their hair and their nails. However, that's just the cover to the book. It goes deeper than that. Now I know that if I can see it in their skin and I can see that they're dry and that they don't have enough protein, I know for sure that they're stiff. I know that they're having a tough time walking and that they don't have that hop, skip, and jump in their bodies. And these are young people. And I know that a lot of people think that you have to be elderly in order to have that stiffness or that osteoporosis and arthritis. Not true anymore, guys. I'm sorry to tell you, it's starting very early in the 40s. I see it.
Wow. Dr. Ronnie, we know that collagen can help, and it's not, I think it stops producing in our bodies by 30. Is that correct? I
Mhm.
mean, so not only do we have poor nutrition, now you're saying too, we're lacking in something we were, why did we stop producing it?
Well, a lot of times you have to remember that the body stops producing a lot of things. And that's when we're supposed to play the part. We're supposed to be putting these things back with the nutrition. And it's not that so much as we stop producing a lot of things. What it is that we stop giving our bodies quality nutrition. That's the real question. Why do we stop giving our bodies quality nutrition? Well, there's a lot of reasons. Number one, some of us don't know what quality nutrition is. Like they rather choose a bag of chips before they choose a sweet potato out of the garden. They rather choose a bag of popcorn rather than eating salad with herbs in it. A lot of these foods they claim are very expensive, but it's not true at all. It's the choices that we make. um I know that for a fact that McDonald's, and I hate to pick on McDonald's, but I know for a fact if you go and get a fish sandwich and some french fries and a milkshake, it costs far more than going to the store to get some real vegetables to eat. So it's the choices that we make, and if you do that choice over many many years, you are going to be deficient. And it starts with a poor gut, because you you have to feed the gut good nutrition in order for it to absorb the good nutrition, right? So there it plays a part. And then when you don't have that, and a lot of people will call it leaky gut, but it's irritable bowel, whatever you want to call it, it affects your entire body. And that's why we see a lot of autoimmune conditions in our country. It's sad for me to say, but autoimmune is off the chart. But a lot of it has to do with huge amounts of deficiencies in amino acids and essential fatty acids and collagen.
You know, Dr. Ronnie, you mentioned in a conversation that we had previously about the chicken and the egg, what came first? Okay, so I'm thinking detoxing. Do we get rid of the toxins in our body, or do we start adding the stuff that we need to be able to mobilize and start moving?
Well, if you got to get rid of the toxins first, because you're just adding, why, if you have a lot of bad trash in your house, why add the good stuff in that trash can when the bad stuff is still there? You got to have room in your space in order to get the good nutrition in. And the good nutrition has to be able to be metabolized, right? You can't metabolize a system full of bad stuff. So you always want to start with removing the bad stuff so that the good can be used appropriately and fast. And that's called repair. So detox and repair. And it will never work the opposite way. And a lot of people have tried it. And I do a lot of blood work, and I'll see that they'll give themselves bodies all kinds of supplements. Like you could take somebody that can do 9 or 10 supplements in a very toxic body, right? And it has a bit difficult time. But if you get somebody that's clean and they only need 3 or 4 really good supplements, they'll get well much faster. And I believe in detoxing because I've been doing it for almost 40 years. I did my thesis in it and I studied it. I did a lot of sciences, and it just makes sense. I ask people, does it make sense to clean up first before you put more bad stuff in? And most people will say yes, it does make sense.
You know, one thing that I had a friend experience recently, she started taking supplements, and there's so many advertised on TV. And she thought, okay, I'm going to take these because these say that it's going to do this, this, and that. And she started having troubles. And she went to the doctor, and her liver enzymes were elevated, like they were out the roof. And then
Yeah,
that's where the supplements get a bad rap. Like you can't just take any supplements. And it is true, right?
yeah. Not all supplements are not created equal. And I remember my mom, she's, God bless her birthday's tomorrow. So, but I remember her saying, "See, I do exactly what you tell me to do." And then I went and looked at her supplements, and I go, "Oh God, please don't tell me she's taking these supplements." And sometimes when you're elderly, you hear things, but it doesn't mean you go out and get the cheapest thing you see. And so there was this magazine that was supporting all these supplements to the elderly people. And literally, it was so simple. They should have been put out of business. Actually, they should have been put in jail. I mean, it was like literally just stuff that was costing like $5.99. I go, and she had lined up. So the good news was she was listening. The bad news is that it was so horrible to hear that a company like that and if I name it, you would probably know because they've been around for a lot of years, but I don't think they're around anymore, would sell these cheap supplements, would do absolutely nothing but hurt someone's liver and kidneys. That's how bad these supplements were. And you will only see it in the really, really poor communities.
You know, I'm a total advocate for if you want to run the marathon, good for you. But get proper instruction of what you need to do and proper preparation to do it. And I think today, in this day and age, Dr. Ronnie, would you agree with me? Supplementation is not a choice. Even with the best organic, grass-fed, chicken-raised, pasteurized eggs, I don't believe it has enough nutrition to get your mobility to that 100% like you were at 15 or 18 or whatever it was. Am I right?
Yeah, and that's the sad part because we now know that our soil is devoid of nutrients, and we now know that they ship vegetables out of the country, across the country, that's been stored in boxes and frozen and then unfroze. So it loses the vitality along the way. By the time that food get put on your table, it doesn't have the same nutrition that it had before it was shipped and boiled and frozen. And so we start eating all of these processed foods along with bad food that we buy. We're not getting nutrition, and that's why the country is obese. It's like we're eating so much that we're trying to satisfy our nutritional status, but it's not working with the quality of the food that we purchase. So I believe in supplementation, number one, but I don't believe in just any supplementation. I believe you have to have the quality and the right ones in order to process it correctly.
So for our folks that are finding themselves in that situation where doctors are telling them, I think you may have rheumatoid arthritis, I think you have osteoarthritis, all these arthritis, okay? Are these all
Mhm.
autoimmune diseases?
Some of them are, rheumatoid arthritis is autoimmune. Osteoarthritis is not. But at the end of the day, they both have a huge processes and the fact that the body's inflamed. And when the body's inflamed, it starts from stage one where you feel it slightly. Then stage two, you feel it a little bit. But by the time the inflammation gets so bad to stage three where you're swollen and you're in pain and you can't walk and you have fevers, you've got a serious condition going on. And a lot of doctors, what they just say, well, you have a little arthritis and here's some pills. But they don't tell you that that little arthritis, if you don't do anything about it, can be crippling for life.
Wow.
It's,
I have
it's
a
not
girl,
it's not something to take lightly. That's what I'm saying.
I know. I think there's a lot of warning signs in the body that try to tell you and talk to you to tell you that something has to change. And I know, like, I have a friend whose ankles get swollen, but her situation isn't necessarily rheumatoid arthritis. Hers is stemming from her heart. Her heart
Yeah.
so that's why I go back again. You have to get evaluated by hopefully a holistic practitioner that can pinpoint where it is that you need that healing. Because if we go to a traditional doctor, allopathic doctor, we're getting more of a band-aid. Is that right, Dr. Ronnie? Is it
Well,
because
yeah, a lot of times they'll give you a heart pill with a little bit of diuretic. The diuretic's supposed to get rid of the pill, and the heart pill is going to help you with the heart. And you'll probably get some other pills for the reason why it's causing your heart to be bad. I mean, you'll end up with a lot of medications, but that's not the key to cure. The key to cure is to find out what you can do to help your heart get in a better condition. Find out what supplements, what herbs you should be using, so you don't have to use that medication that rinses your body out, not from just fluid, but also from minerals. And we have a lot of people that will do diuretics that will end up with a heart condition that's worse because they've taken all the potassium out of their body or the magnesium. There's a lot of minerals in our body that we need in order to survive. But if you're on a chronic dosage of a diuretic and no one's taught you that diuretic is removing the minerals from their body and you have to replace them, then you could end up in the worst situation. Some people have heart attacks.
wow. I didn't even think about that, Dr. Ronnie, that because diuretic, I think as a non-clinical person, I think, oh, it's just a water pill. It's just taking out the water. But it's not just taking out the water,
No,
taking out the water with
no.
my minerals,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So my body's going to have to. would you say that the body has to go then to the bones to find the minerals to balance the blood?
A lot of times that's how you get osteoporosis. A lot of people don't understand that we remove minerals from our bones if we're not putting it in there. Where do you think it's coming from? And I remember having this long conversation about if you're trying to make your bones strong and healthy, you have to eat the foods that the bones are made out of. You can't eat foods like, what do you call it? I call it plastic foods. I don't know, call it fake foods. You can't eat processed foods with a lot of pastas and breads and all those things and think you're feeding your bones. You're not. You know, the
Give us some
bones is
suggestions
something
of,
that needs minerals. Well, I always tell people that if they have a bone, if I always go back to my grandmother, right? I mean, my grandmother, I told you about my aunt too. She was like almost 100 and she would climb the tree. And literally, she didn't even know what yoga was or gyms and all that stuff. Nobody went to gyms back then. They didn't even have gyms. But she would go find that switch. She would go climb the tree to find the switch to beat the kids with if they were bad. This was an old lady. And I remember watching what she would eat. Now, a lot of people would go, oh my God, I would never eat that. But, they would just go in the garden and just pick stuff out and eat it. And they knew herbs better than the herbologist. Like, come on. They go, well, you got to eat this. And it would be bitter and it would be dandelion and rosemary and oregano and all these things that we're afraid to do, right? And my other grandmother, she used to chew the bones.
yeah.
People would
I
laugh.
used to chew the
These are
bone. I
strong
used to chew the
people.
bones of a
Yeah,
chicken, so
yeah.
I never knew
So
anything different.
right. What did
That's
we
what we
know?
did.
Right. We did what they did. And now we have something that's called bone broth. Give me a break. People are going to buy bone broth. Just make it. See, so
Right?
everything has to be so commercial. All you gotta do is go back and look at what our ancestors did and find out why they lived so. My grandmother wouldn't think, she would never think about taking it. She called it blue, red, blue, green pills. She says, I don't know what that is, and I'm not taking it. But she knew what
I,
herbs were.
yeah. I had an aunt that had high blood pressure, and she would sit on her bed and peel garlic, and that's what she ate.
That's right.
You know,
Garlic
as
lowers your blood pressure.
you've really jogged my mind to when I was a little girl, and I used to see my aunts and grandmothers. They didn't rush to the doctors. They didn't rush to the pharmacy, to
They were
get stuff. They
afraid.
would just boil something on the stove, and then we drank it, and that's
Right.
how it's always been. I wanna I
I
know Dr.
think they call
Parva
it pot liquor.
pot liquor. Is that what you called
Yeah,
it?
pot liquor. Yeah. Uh-huh.
I'm telling you. If you guys only knew that healing is probably just a garden away, if you grow your own food, you'll even know how it's produced. But I wanted to bring Dr. Parvna, if he's here, Claudia. He just
Yeah,
joined us, I think.
sorry for the late joining. Hi,
Ah, don't worry
Lovely.
about it. This is a casual
Hi.
conversation. We were talking about mobility, collagen,
yeah.
detoxing, even hormones. What's your thoughts on it, Dr. Parvna? I know you've seen patients. Um, you see people that come in and are challenged. What is your first indication that they're dealing with collagen issues or with mobility issues?
So people are having like nowadays like people are having hectic life. They do work like 9 to 5. So they sit on the chairs and they on the laptops. So don't they move. So because of that they have immobility of the arms and on and the legs. It may lead to like having a fibrosis or like in scar tissue. So it later on in the life when they retire they're having like a frozen. They have because of capsules are not so working properly, they limit the restrictions and the movements. So I would say like better if you do like a exercise, like if you sit on the table we can do like every 15 minutes or 20 minutes we can do just little bit of walks and then come back and just sit for that. It will be more better. Yeah.
Right. No, I agree. One big thing that I've learned, if you don't use it, you lose it. And,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that is especially true, isn't it, Dr. Ronnie? I mean, especially when we have
Absolutely.
injured people that
Mm-hmm.
have like had their foot in a cast and you see it atrophy, which means it's just you'll see one leg smaller than the other. And why do you see
Mm-hmm.
that? Tell me, Dr. Ronnie, is it just depleting it? Is it
Well, you have a spine that keeps the body together, right? And so when you don't use the spine and you're sitting like this, and a lot of people do that because they're having a condition, they may have a hip problem or a spinal condition.
Yeah.
you're training it to be like that. And if you're always sitting there and you're not going back the other way, your curve will stay like that and get stiff. And that's why it's so important to have the collagen and the protein and the essential fatty acids and the water so that you can have the lubrication and the nutrients to help you move the body back in the other direction. Now, a lot of people give yoga and Pilates and all these things and chiropractors, a lot of credit. And rightfully so, because we're in bad shape. However, you can do it yourself. And I think a lot of people don't understand that. I'll never forget this patient that we told him, I says, you're going to end up in a wheelchair. And that was his worst fear. He says, I've never ended up in a wheelchair. I was just joking with him. I says, yeah, in about a year, you're going to end up in a wheelchair. And I wanted to see what he was going to do. Within a week, somebody told me, I see him walking all the time. He's always walking. He walks from one town from Vineyard Haven to Oak Bluffs, and he hasn't stopped walking since you told him that. Now he's walking straight up, walking better than me almost. So the key is if you don't move it, like you said, you're going to lose it.
Lose it.
Oh. So it has to be a combination of get those toxins out of your body, right? Get the right nutrition in your body, and you got to move.
And you
There's no way around it.
Absolutely.
We all want it quick and easy with the pill. I think that's why we go to physicians and they give us this pill, but the pill is, it's gonna, like you say, put a lid on it.
It gives you immediate results. And a lot of people, without the knowledge, they think the immediate results is the cure.
It gets worse.
It's not a cure.
It's for short term, not for long term. Yeah.
That's right.
I went to the doctor when I was going through breast cancer treatment, and all my hormones were being suppressed. How much does hormones play in the role of joint pain?
Major. It's major. You have to remember, our hormones keep all of our organs together, not just our organs. We downplay hormones, but if you don't have the right hormones, you're gonna have emotional, you're gonna have mental problems, and you're also gonna have organ problems, and you're gonna have bone problems. You're gonna have libido problems. I mean, should I keep going on? Because you're gonna have a lot of problems when you have hormones that are out of balance. And people don't realize that a lot of women that don't get their hormones checked and they're not in balance, they get misdiagnosed all the time. They'll get misdiagnosed, and basically, if you don't have a doctor that don't understand that we are hormonal people, that sometimes you can end up in the worst shape with your heart or your lungs or whatever condition that's bothering you. Sometimes it's hormonal, and you got to be able to do.
Can you hear it? Hold on. We can't hear you.
We lost you, Dr. Ronnie. Something happened to her sound.
Just tap on the mute and unmute. Maybe that'll work. That's what I usually do.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I never heard of that fix. Okay.
It's like switching you off and then switching you on,
If it was only that easy with our health, eh? Off and on.
Exactly.
But no, that's great that you tell me that. When I seen this rheumatologist, it was interesting. I was in so much pain, and it was to the pain where Dr. Ronnie, where when I would get out of bed, I wanted to cry. I didn't want to get out of bed. I was falling into a depression, and I was looking for answers everywhere. So I go to this guy. I don't remember him running labs for hormones. He ran labs for, I guess there's an enzyme or some protein that's released when you have rheumatoid arthritis. That's what he ran labs for. And then he gave me Mobic, which is a pain medication. And that was the solution. And see, this is where we're telling people, you've got to know from the right kind of doctor what it is that you should be asking. And maybe you're going to know more than the doctor is now when you have Dr. Ronnie on your side. It's the truth, right, Dr. Ronnie and Dr. Partner?
Well,
we have physicians like you guys. It's amazing what we can tell our doctors.
But just so that everyone understands, to a doctor's defense, an allopathic doctor's defense, when you go to the emergency room, they never told you that they were whole body medicine doctor. They told you that if you come for a symptom, that's what we're going to fix. So if you go for pain, you get pain medicine. They never said, if you come here, I'm going to do your hormones, I'm going to do your CRP levels, I'm going to see if you have inflammation. They never said that. So it's just whatever it is that you go for, that's what they run the blood with. And so what we're trying to say now is that in order to be well, in order to be healthy, you need integrative doctors, you need naturopathic doctors, and then you use your medical doctors for that specific problem, because they didn't go to school to learn whole body medicine, body, mind, and spirit. That's not who they are, and they're letting us know that's not who they are. And that's why when you go in there, you get the medication why you went there in the first place. If that was heart racing, you get a heart medicine. If it was pain, you get a pain medicine. If it was a kidney, you're going to get a kidney medicine. You get it? So
no, I get it. I get it. I see my dad. He's taking 11 medications. Well, mind you, my dad's 94 years old. Amazing. But every time he goes, I tell him, and I've got him on all our supplements now. The only thing is, I don't know how to detach him from the meds that the allopathic doctors have put him on, because he feels he has to take them now at this point, right?
Yes.
But I'm amazed that I'm so glad we got so many youth in these channels now that are going to be making wiser choices and are going to be really thankful for you, Dr. Ronnie. We're at the half hour, Dr. Ronnie. I know your time is very precious. Dr. Parvna, do you want to ask Dr. Ronnie anything? Dr. Ronnie, do you want to ask Dr. Parvna anything? I just want to make sure you guys get a chance to conversate about something maybe that's more important than what I have to ask. Obviously.
Well,
One more question I want to ask, one more question I want to ask Dr. On is like, what people can do now to prevent this any joint disease or any inflammatory disease later on this life, because people are now very busy, their lifestyles are very bad, so they are only doing their on the diet, or they know little bit of exercise, but what they can do now so that they later on they don't get these inflammations, or that they any type of any illness of joint disease.
So no matter how busy you are, I think that everybody deserves to learn how to make vegetable broth and bone broth. You just take a whole bunch of vegetables. Stop making this complicated. Put it in a big giant pot, right? What do you call those crock pots? I don't know what you call them anymore. I have like 3 or 4 of them. You throw it in there with a bunch of onions and garlics and all kinds of spices. You put the lid on and you go to bed. When you wake up in the morning, you're going to have the most amazing broth with so many minerals in it. And you drink it all day with water. So now you're putting the minerals back and you're putting the fluid in the body at the same time. And don't forget collagen, essential amino acids, essential fatty acids. And a lot of people are deficient in that. And you know how I know? Because I do blood work.
So what test should they ask their doctor for amino acids?
Integrative blood work. You do it all. 12 vials of blood. Perfect. Otherwise, if you ask your doctor, remember what he's going to do. He's going to say, what's your problem? And then you're going to say, well, doc, I have a little pain in my back. And he's just going to do blood work for that.
Right. That's great. Now we know. You heard it, Dr. Parvna. We need to go make a big pot of vegetables tonight and some broth with
all those vegetables in, all those herbs in, put the lid on it, go to bed, wake up, you got the most amazing broth. Okay? All right. And remember, the vegetables that you put in there, it leaches out into the broth. The broth is more important than the vegetables at that point. It's called bone broth. You could do it with bones. You could do it with vegetables. You could do it with a lot of things.
Can you do it with both?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Ronnie. If you want to step out, we appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Ronnie.
I'm going to bring Dr. Claudia up, and I think, Claudia, are we going to stay on the live? Or
yeah, we can stay live.
We can stay live.
We can stay live.
Bye,
Dr. Ronnie.
See you mañana. That's awesome. I love always to be able to talk to Dr. Ronnie. Jillian, you've been an angel to bring her to us. And trust me, there's a lot of people here that just love where she comes from. Dr. Parvna, you're learning from her too.
Dr. Ronnie has great experiences and devastating knowledge. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I agree. I couldn't be happier to
I'm
be with
lucky
her.
to have her. I'm hearing her speech. Yeah.
Ah, Dr. You're gonna be just like Dr. Ronnie. Watch. You're
Yeah.
gonna follow
Yes.
in her footsteps. Hey, Jillian, how you doing tonight?
I'm
Hi.
good. I'm good. I'm just going to put a call out message out there. We have such an amazing show. We have amazing talent. We have amazing people coming in with our movement. Thank you for Pranav for being a volunteer and showing up. And I think you're going to be a catalyst to helping bring other medical minds to the table.
Okay,
But
definitely.
we really want to help that spread the word. And I know before I hand it off to Claudia, I just would love to thank those volunteers that are showing up in the lives. We have Madeline here. She's a new student, and she's actually a counseling student. So she's coming with some expertise that's going to help us spread the word too. So we have a lot of new people coming in, and they're coming in not so much about the idea of I want to sell something, I want to do something. It's about sharing the good, about introducing people to holistic healing methods that we know work. So it's the original methods, but we need to spread the word. So I want you to be proud of being part of what we're doing. And I want you to invite others to these movements and invite others to these calls, because this is how we spread the word. It's only been a little engine that could, it's only going to, it's moving faster than I expected. So I need tech people too. So it's nice to have you on the call for now, because you're the expert guy, somebody that I can see as the future of the healing methods that we need to have. We have Madeline coming in that's helping with some engagement. We have other volunteers that want to help us with the detox and manage that and do email campaigns. But if you know anybody that knows how to use StreamYard, knows broadcast engineering to some degree, we need to get bigger, and I need your help. So I'm just putting a little commercial in there for me, if you don't mind, because I know this is what I need right now. Because otherwise, I want to be able to get this out faster, because I know this is going to save a lot of people. So thank you for letting me interject. And then I'm going to hand it over to Claudia before we stop the live, because I think she needs to say a couple things. But if anybody needs to leave, that's fine. But over to you, Claudia.
All right. So what I want to share is a little bit about a lot of people, including me at the beginning. I thought collagen was all about skin. There's a big boom out there. People are getting those big jugs of collagen and just putting them in their water. And all they think is, I want good skin, I want great hair, and I want strong nails, right? So that was the most that I knew. And when I started finding out a little bit more, and I added some of those pictures in the chat, well, it ends up we actually have 28 types of collagen in our body that have been identified. But mainly we're going to focus, because that's what our body right now uses the most, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And actually our collagen has number 10 as well. So type 1 is the one that is going to be focused on that skin. And why not? Skin is everywhere, is our largest organ, and it's actually the one that is the #1 protective barrier for our immune system. So obviously, not only do we want to not be saggy, but we want to be protected. Any cut needs to heal faster. Anything that's going to come into your skin, even sun, toxics, toxins, everything is going to come through your skin, and it's also going to detoxify coming out of your skin. It's not only through urine and feces, it's actually doing through sweat, right? So having great skin really is crucial for immune system. So I'm going to tell you that I put on the picture something that I like, which is we actually can connect that glue that holds our body, collagen, to everything, tissues, joints, it's cardiovascular health, because it's in our arteries, it's everywhere. So collagen is everywhere. And the way that I like to kind of explain it quickly in simple, non-doctor words, is that when you buy a nice crisp shirt, you go to the store, you get that crisp shirt, it's a weave. So that's what happens with collagen. Collagen is a weave of our skin. And when you wash and wash that shirt, and the shirt becomes all thin and wrinkled, that's what happens to our skin, our joints, and everything, as that thread, because it is a thread. Collagen, if you just Google it, you're going to find that it's a three thread braid that's what's going to actually loosen up. And that's why you see, when kids are young, they're plumpy, they got their cheeks all full of collagen. And as we age, you're going to see that skin sagging. So with that, I also want to talk a little bit about why we have two types of collagen in for life. It gets really confusing for people, and it's very simple. The first one we call collagen, and that one has a really nice flavor, but it's a little sweet, and some people didn't like the sweetness of it. So For Life came with a second type, which is collagen type 1. So I'm going to give you the ingredients for the first one, which is the one that we call pink collagen. And this one has nanofactor, ovofactor, ultrafactor, hydrolyzed fish collagen, chicken bone broth, eggshell membrane, wheat extract, and that's it. So that's the collagen that we call the one in the pink box. But here's the incredible thing with the For Life collagen. We actually have added other ingredients that are going to work synergetically into this collagen recipe, which are biotin, which is super great. People actually buy biotin on hair places just to get great hair and great nails. When you go to the nail place, they'll sell you biotin. We have also in our collagen vitamin E, which is an antioxidant, vitamin A, which is great for your skin, astaxanthin, which is also an algae full of antioxidants, and vitamin C, which now it's working in this ingredient in these box as a collagen that serves for the synthesis of this antioxidant support. So that's what we call the pink box. The white box or silver box, some people like to call it like that, that's collagen type 1. So it only has collagen type 1 and it's flavorless. So really here, it is going to be focused towards that skin, but it's also going to be supporting all the other things because it's still going to support the other things. So it's got hydrolyzed fish collagen type 1 that improves that skin moisture, elasticity, and also the appearance of wrinkles. And it also has vitamin C, vitamin E, and our transfer factor trifactor formula, same as the first one. So that transfer factor is really going to be what makes it different than everything else out there in the market, because as you know, now that we have the transfer factor, immunity is just going to get its intelligence back of what to do. And as we lose that collagen as we age, now we're bringing in a daily dosage of transfer factor with the collagen. Now your skin is going to start looking plumpier again. Joints are going to be, getting a lot more or less stiff, like Sonia says. And so it really is, what would I do or what do I recommend? It comes in boxes of 15, just get, a silver one and a pink one. And I think it's going to be the best formula for everybody. I do have a quick testimonial. We had a lady in the Spanish group. I'm going to have to put that in the group later. She said that only after 2 weeks, she really had a lot of relief from a pain that she had been carrying for a long time in her back. So it really, collagen, we have proven scientific studies that I have added to the chat and that we're going to put in the group that you can show, your friends and family that we have a really good high quality product. But the most important thing is that independent in each body, it's going to work different, but it could work really fast. If your body's needing it, with the transfer factor and the collagen, you could actually feel a lot of relief of things that you may not even know that you've had. And collagen does it really fast. But our studies were done on a 42 week and with I think 21 subjects. You can read them on that, and it's proven. It's proven that there was a lot of less wrinkles and lots of things that I don't want to go through it right now because I've added it in the chat and you can go through that on your own. But so we do what I wanted. My point is we have proven facts, what I'm saying here. It's not just, we have a great product, and it really is proven that we have the most amazing product. So back to you, Sonia. Thank you so much. I hope that helped into deciding which one is the right one for you.
Claudia, you always bring it, and I just love it because we need to know, why and what and how, and you did it all. Thank you. I really appreciate all that information that you gave us. Now, you guys received a lot of information. You heard our doctors talk about collagen, mobility, hormones, everything that had to do with this thing called mobility and also flexibility, right? I want to ask Dr. Parvna, what have you looked at the For Life products yet, Dr. Parvna?
No,
Not
this is,
yet, but I just seen various things.
Great, great, great,
Like
great.
transfer
What,
spectral collagen, rich start. Yeah. I,
some doctors come in and they just, what are your first thoughts? I mean, as you're navigating and learning, just like most of the people on this call tonight, they're learning. What
yeah.
are things that you would tell them to look at that have intrigued you or have
Uh,
caught your eye?
I would say definitely look out for collagen. It was a very good thing because if you take a medicine, it will relieve you for the short term. It will go you for the pain. But if you take a collagen, it will immediately root cause of the disease. If you take for a long time, it's gonna relieve the problem, and it's not a cause adverse effect or side effect. So it's definitely worth it to take it. Yeah.
Right, right. That's, you mentioned something so important, side effects. Collagen, taking collagen doesn't have side effects, folks.
Doesn't.
Yeah, you're not gonna have side effects. I
benefits, yeah,
mean,
benefits.
which is true. Hey, Jillian, what do
Okay.
we have for next week?
Well, actually, this is going to be an interesting topic because I having gone through menopause, and I remember the topic is why are so many people getting frozen shoulder? You know, and I've had frozen shoulder not just once, but twice, actually 3 times in my lifetime. So I was never quite understood why. But the ironic thing is that I did, and this is a testimonial to adding. I don't want to get too into the topic for next week, but I think we need to educate people as to why they suffer with this. And it's so prevalent, especially with menopausal women, and we need to discuss what we can do to help prevent that, especially somebody at a younger age, so you don't have to go through what I went through. I literally could not move my arm. I couldn't even pull my underwear out. I'm going to share that inside here. It was so bad that I had to take my husband with me everywhere so that I could do basic things because I couldn't move my arm. It was absolutely locked, And I have pictures of myself working for Avon as a district sales manager, and my husband would have to drive me around because I couldn't even drive. It was that debilitating. But I recently had a frozen shoulder, and the only thing that I did that was different was I added heavy doses of collagen into my system. I remember coming in and I started doing on a regime. I had the unflavored collagen in the morning, and I'd have the mango collagen in the evening. And then I also added a couple of other products, which was the gold factor and the AMJ, fiber AMJ, which is loaded with magnesium. So I was very deficient in a lot of nutrients, but as soon as I put those elements back in my body, I actually overcame my frozen shoulder very quickly. A lot of you that remember me when I first started with For Life, I was suffering with that. And and I went through and I was like worried because typically that would be something that would last me a year. That's how long it took me to finally that you get locked up and the cartilage and it locks up and you can't move. But I actually was able to get out of it faster. And the only thing I did differently was load up on my collagen and load up on my AMJ and fiber AMJ and also the gold factor. So what my body needed those minerals, right? So essential fatty acids, and that was based on the guidance of Dr. Ronnie. So thank you. We have this people within our circle that could help me, circumvent the pain that I knew I was expecting to get. I didn't have it as badly as I used to. So I want to say thank you for everybody for that. But that's what we're talking about next week is why we get frozen shoulder. I think it's a topic that works perfectly with mobility. And it's not just for women, it's for men too. So I think that'll be a good discussion next week. Okay.
Hey, Jillian, I want to do something different tonight. I actually have like 5 boxes of collagen, and I'm going to be willing to let go of one. Okay.
Ooh.
If you in this group tonight will do us, well, do yourself a favor. I want you to go into the group and tell the group what you learned tonight. If you go in there and you post in the Good Health Stories and Solutions what you learned tonight, I'm going to put you in a raffle for a box of collagen and I'll get it out this week. So
Awesome. Awesome.
Let's see how many people can help us here tonight, right?
Sonia, is that going to be a worldwide or North America only? Make sure you clarify that part.
It could be, it's fine. I mean, I could pay the postage. It's not going to hurt me. I mean, will it be?
Worldwide.
Yeah, will it be
Bangladesh,
delivered?
India,
I imagine so, right? It
anywhere.
doesn't matter. I want you guys to know that we appreciate you here. Coming and supporting us and sharing this message is huge and it's important. It's extremely important. One day I will be gone, folks. And I want to say that I left something behind, just like Dr. Ronnie, just like Jillian, just like Claudia. We all want to leave something behind that transcends our life. And if it can be health, let's do it. Let's do it together. Let's share in the joy. I told you, I got 5 boxes. They're going to expire if I don't drink them all. I've been drinking them. I've been pretty good about it. I don't know if you guys see it in my skin. Look I have no wrinkles on my forehead.
Wow. No,
Isn't that cool?
It's the best thing ever. And I just saw Paulina just mentioned that she's had frozen shoulder for 3 years. So you need to be on that show next week. We need to invite everybody we know that's had this issue to the show next week. So I think these calls are awesome. So thank you for it's very loaded, a lot of information, but we'll keep on adding to the conversation. Please engage in the community, ask questions, use the chat. We have a chat, by the way, that you can ask questions inside the community, and it's private to the community. So if you have any questions, anything that you're dealing with, put it in there, because guarantees somebody has a solution for it. Like I'm not kidding. Somebody has a solution as a recommendation inside that chat. And that's where you need to leverage the team, the talent that's coming forward alongside Dr. Ronnie Pranav. We have other doctors in here. We want to get them more involved too. So thank you so much for everybody. I'm going to hand it back to you, Sonia, to close, and then we can. I know we were supposed to do an after party, but I think we're actually.
We're in the party already, girl.
Okay.
So Madeline, thank you for joining us for the first time. I'm not sure if I have anybody else, Claudia, in here. Tasang maybe is new. I've never seen that name before, but my loyal fans, Marissa, Kawinder, Happy, Sandra, she joins me on Wednesday night too. Thank you guys. Thank you for being there. Rita, I love you, girl. You're always holding it up, whether you're in Germany or you're in United States, you're always connected. And I love that. Thank you. And Claudia, Dr. Parvna, you're an angel. Thank you for being
Thank you so much.
in motion for this cause. And Jillian, like always, you're the best, girl. Thank you for creating this.
Okay, right. No worries. It's all good.
All right.
We're
Good
gonna
night,
get bigger.
folks. And see you till next Tuesday. Tomorrow, is there anything that they should know that's happening later on this week?
Well, there is, for those that are curious about the For Life, there is going to be a conversation tomorrow night that Claudia is leading, and that is talking about the Beyond Borders, Beyond Limits mission that we have. So you can show up for that one. That's at 8 p.m. And but you can find that in the but we'll post it in the community. We just want to make sure that we are sensitive to that, because not everybody's interested in that aspect of it. But what we want to do is make sure that you're aware that next week we have Dr. Ronnie. We're coming up with a fun name for Detox Diaries on Monday with Dr. Ronnie. We're having calls live in there, and that's on Mondays. We are going to be doing every Tuesday next week is obviously Good Health Solutions. We're going to be talking about frozen shoulder next week, and every month is a different theme. But if you want to hear a different topic, please let us know. We can switch it up. If the demand is there, we can switch up the topic. Okay, so I do also want to thank the volunteers. We've got some really great volunteers that are creating content for us, great videos, some great graphics. So, please, if you see something different and you see a change, comment, we'll let you know who created it. Okay. So this is the beauty of what we're doing, is everybody's contributing and volunteering to make the world a better place. So thank you for that. Okay.
And my other folks that were on my second page, Alice, Alicia, Maddie, and Lydia, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I didn't want to leave you out. And then remember, you got some homework to do. Call to action. You remember what it is? You got to go in the community and share what you learned tonight. Show people that it's important to show up and bring others too. So with that, good night, folks. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Thank
you.
Good night. Good night. Thank you. Bye.
Good night, Lydia.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye.